wonderful people we have in the studio, and we are up live on the air on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel. Sanquez, Graham.
Yes.
I turned on your mic. Now you can say yes.
Yes, St. Louis
Yes.
Graham.
Right.
Yep.
And your title,
I am the local public health administrator for Cumberland County Department of Public Health.
right?
Yep.
And we have Mr. Berry. Bring that microphone a little bit closer to you. Yeah, don't be. Grab it. Go ahead. Yes, yeah. Come on, Greg Berry, you're the project coordinator for the opioid. Give me the whole thing because it doesn't fit. There's no way it fits on your card.
Well, it's the Cumberland Fayetteville Opioid Response Team. We call it C4 for short.
See for it, okay. And we're all here for the fact that this is a recovery month or a recovery program that has coming up.
Recovery Month is actually in September, but this month or next week we have the International Overdose Awareness Day, and so that's part of the reason why we're here.
All right. Well, let's talk about what's going to happen and what you hope to accomplish this year because this happens every year. What's the hope?
Well, the hope is to raise awareness, engage the community, let folks know about what's happening locally and what resources are available locally, and bring folks together to, honor the memory of those that we've lost to overdose.
Yeah, and when you talk about the resources that are available, give us a sense of some of the things that are out there.
Well, there's a lot of different resources that are available from, kind of your conventional things like treatment services, for substance use and mental health, to harm reduction services like Narcan distribution and test strips and things of that nature, to peer support, to recovery housing, to education. I mean, there's a lot of different resources that are available.
And Sanquez, what is your role in all of this in terms of the health department and how it plays in helping folks who need some help?
Yes, so we've actually established a division that works specifically with substance use and also programs that relate to criminal justice involvement and mental health as well. So we're not the mental health hub of the county, but we have social workers that are embedded in our programs that get individuals connected to their mental health programs. But with us, we also have a recovery resource center. And I wanted to highlight that as Greg was talking about the different modalities that we have to get people connected to treatment and services. We established a recovery resource center here in Cumberland County where people are able to go there as a recovery hub to get connected to those peer support specialists, treatment providers, mental health providers. They're able to get connected to housing resources, employment resources. And I think that that's a place that we really like to have people start. That way we can help them navigate throughout the landscape in Cumberland County.
You make an interesting point because a lot of resources out there, and someone who is a recovering alcoholic or substance abuse, they're trying to get some help. They may not be the one that can seek the help, and so it's important for family members to know what the resources are. Greg, talk about that a little bit because that maybe that's the start to say, hey, I've got a family member. What can I do? Because I'm at wit's end. What can I do?
Well, I mean, partly like family members being aware of the resources, but also family members and, they're indirectly impacted and oftentimes they need support as well. And so one of the ways that we go about that is we actually offer a friends and family support group as part of our Smart Recovery initiative that we have here in the county to give, family members that have been impacted or looking for ways to try to manage their own feelings, their own emotions, trying to figure this out for themselves, give them a space where they can go and get support. But, in addition to that, just kind of being aware of what resources are available, the Recovery Resource Center is a really good place to start. It's, open all throughout the week. There's no appointment needed. They can just walk in. They can engage with a peer support who's there on staff or, any of the partners that are in the building throughout the week. We have multiple partners from our C4 Coalition. So all the different partners that make up C4 have some of their staff present in the center throughout the week as well. We have a schedule on the wall that kind of lists out each day what's there, what support groups are available, when resources are there, what days treatment centers are in there, signing folks up. So there's really so many resources to try to kind of list them all. It probably wouldn't be the best way of going about it. Instead, I think kind of like letting folks know that this resource center is available. It's over on Executive Place, 707 Executive Place, and they can come by there and they can get connected to folks and learn more and see the schedule and see what's really available.
And you make a good point because there are a lot of resources available, and I mean, if you try to sort through it yourself and say what's the best course, it could be time consuming and maybe frustrating
Mhm.
to a certain extent. How much time does it take for someone to come in and seek some assistance and before a connection is made? How quickly does that happen?
Yeah, so that would be based on their individual needs. We do have peer support specialists on site there, as well as our social workers are there throughout the week. We also have health educators there. We have our treatment providers that have staff there. So it would depend on the assessment that they're intending to get completed. Usually, with our peer support specialists, they try to have a more casual conversation with them to see where their starting point is. And that can be anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours sometimes. It depends on how much time the person has to sit and talk with our staff.
Now we got the two of you here, but
Mhm.
I mean, there's a ton of folks who need help and they need resources. Do you have volunteers, or how does the program work, and how does that work out?
Absolutely. So C4, one of the driving forces in our partnerships there is having people that are passionate about the work. So they volunteer their time and their space often to be able to come out and support individuals who are in recovery and those who are contemplating recovery. I know that we wanted to spend some time today talking about International Overdose Awareness Day, and that leads directly into why we have people that are so passionate about the work and that they try to give back to the community to be able to be a driving force there.
Well, let's
Mhm.
talk about that
Yeah.
because it's last week it was our WFNC Crime Stoppers Crime of the Week,
Mhm.
where the Fayetteville police sent out an alert about an unusually large amount of fentanyl overdoses. And there was a feeling that there might have been some contaminated drugs in the area or some potentially very powerful levels of fentanyl in the community for these overdoses to happen. And let's talk about that there are resources, there are things people can do if they encounter someone who they think may have the symptoms of an overdose. Who wants to handle that?
Okay.
I'll take a stab at that
Sure.
one. And overdose is a really complicated subject, and it's not like a one shoe or one like cookie cutter approach to that. People experience overdose for a variety of different reasons, but part of one of the main catalyst in the community is that we have an adulterated drug supply here that we've identified that for several years through drug checking, working with the UNC Street Drug Lab to collect samples from folks that are using substances in the area and getting them analyzed to see exactly what's in these substances. And so for several years now, we've been aware and monitoring what we call adulterants. And these are different fentanyl analogs and different synthetic sedatives and tranquilizers that get mixed into the illicit drug supply. And so a lot of times what could be driving overdoses is a new batch comes into the community that has some new adulterant in it that people in the community have no tolerance for or haven't seen or experienced before. And when they come into contact and start to use that, you start to see like spikes in overdose or these sorts of reactions. So the drug supply is really unpredictable. And so that's one of the reasons why we really push drug checking and testing. And that's something that's available at the Recovery Resource Center as well. Folks can come there and get different tests to test for things like xylazine, which is a sedative that's in the drug supply that causes people for like heavy sedation, also causes people to develop very severe skin wounds. Medetomidine is another sedative that's in the drug supply that causes people to lose consciousness and could impact people's breathing, could also be related to some of these upticks in overdose in the community, as well as fentanyl test strips so that folks can, test what could potentially be counterfeit pills or is fentanyl being mixed into other substances, that they weren't maybe prepared for or suspecting that it would be in there, and giving them a mechanism and a way to test to see if it's present. So part of that, and I would like to also kind of emphasize that overall, over the last several years, Cumberland County has seen a steady decline in the number of overdoses, since 22 when we had our like highest year. Since then, we've been on a steady decline, but with all these adulterants in the drug supply and it being unstable from month to month, it's really unpredictable, and that's why we really push drug checking.
Well, what do you think is attributed to the attrition of overdoses? Is it awareness, more availability for folks have what's the Narcan? Is it Narcan that if you have an opioid overdose that you can get that and recover? But what do you think is attributing to the fact that we don't have as many as we were having when we had the peak?
Well, I think it's a lot of different factors, and you really can't say that it's just one thing. We've seen a lot of a lot more people getting engaged in treatment services and retention in treatment services. We've been able to use opioid settlement funds to try to provide a gap that we've seen with transportation, which was getting people connected over to treatment. So getting people into housing, providing peer support in the community. Like, these are all factors, but of course, naloxone distribution and saturation is also a key player in that. And actually, over the last couple of weeks, that's something that we've been stepping up on. We work with the police department to develop what we call a heat map, where they analyze their calls for service for overdose-related calls. They look at EMS, fire, and police calls for service, and then they take those and chart those onto a map and create like a heat map where we can identify where the highest calls for service are at. And then we work with our large coalition of partners with CFORT, which is a big cross-sector coalition of partners, and we get all those folks together, and we go out in those areas, and we do outreach, and we do Narcan distribution. We pass out test kits. We let folks know about resources. We bring peer supports out in the community and engage with folks. So it's really and this is part of Cumberland's secret sauce. It's a whole community collective impact model that we use, where we bring together public health, emergency services, first responders, treatment providers, community-based organization, harm reduction, treatment centers. Everyone comes together and works together on this problem. So it's really a community effort that's taking place here.
Well, and this is not a celebration in as much as it's an awareness campaign that happens this September. And Sanquez, tell us about that again, because there's some folks just joining us right now. Sanquez Graham is with the Public Health Department. You're a public health administrator.
I
You've been doing.
am.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been in public health for 10 years.
10 years.
Yep.
So next month we have the awareness. Talk
Mhm.
about that one more time for us before we get out of here.
Yep. So next month is Recovery Month, but we always kick Recovery Month off with International Overdose Awareness Day, which is next Monday, August 31st. That actually, we do turn that into a celebration because we want to talk about and remember the people that we've missed, that we love and have lost due to overdose. We also want to take a moment to celebrate the people that we have with us that have experienced overdose and then made it through. And so during that time, we get together as a community. We join with it's Public Health, Fayetteville State University, Methodist University. We all come together to be able to celebrate. And I would definitely want to let Greg have a moment to highlight that as well in that celebration.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
actually will be taking place next Monday at Fayetteville State University in the Rudolph Jones Student Center from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's a community event. It's open to everyone. We'll kick it off with what we call rescue kit making, where folks in the community can come participate in putting together Narcan or naloxone kits that we distribute in the community. We'll also do some overdose education and awareness so that folks are aware of what's going on. We'll have a community connection hour where folks can connect with all the different C4 partners that are a part of this work, and then we'll transition into like a formal program where we'll have some speakers, and we'll do a section we call Say Their Name, where the community is able to come up and say the name of their loved one, and we do like a memorial there, and we kind of close the evening out with a candlelight visual. And again, that's next Monday from 5 to 8 at Fayetteville State University.
All right.
And yep. And then, so once we kick off our Recovery Month with International Overdose Awareness Day, then we'll roll into September, where we have activities throughout the month that relate to recovery and support. So it's everything from celebrations, as well as getting people connected to treatment, getting them connected to other resources in the community to maintain their recovery journey. We work heavily with our partners throughout CFORT to make sure that we're highlighting the work that's being done and the journey that people have taken to maintain their recovery.
All right, well, look, this has been a good conversation, and we got to talk about it. And sometimes it's a difficult subject to talk about, but it impacts a lot of folks. And if it's not someone in your family, I'm sure you know somebody,
Right.
or
That's
so
right.
know some family. So it's a community effort, and that's
It
why
is.
the health department is involved. And Greg, we appreciate the work that you do out in the community as well, and appreciate both of you being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
I
much for
Appreciate the
having us.
opportunity to highlight this important work.
Now it's time to get the boot. It's just my way of telling people goodbye and I love you. That's what I'm saying. When I say, if you get the boot from Gilbert Bays, that means I love you. I appreciate you coming out. All right, that part is over. You're listening to News Talk 640 WFNC. We've got Fayetteville's most dependable forecast with CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunsing.
Today will be mainly sunny with a high of 91 degrees. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a stray shower possible and a low of 71. And Thursday will be partly cloudy with spotty showers and storms with a high of 89. An approaching cold front brings a better chance for rain late in the day Friday, and some lingering rain will continue into Saturday before we dry out and heat up next week. That's your Fayetteville forecast. I'm CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunzing.
All right, Rachel, for the last time today, 72 degrees right now in Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, and also in Bun Level. You're listening to News Talk 640 WFNC.
This report is sponsored by United States Department of Veterans Affairs.
The hardest part was figuring out where to go. Safeguard Veterans connected me to people and resources that understood military life.
Veteran-focused support, local connections. Visit safeguardveterans.net and click on your city. Safeguard Veterans. Any door, the right support.
Attention Lumberton, the used car liquidation blitz is on. 1 week only at Lumberton Honda. Get your winning drive and score with hundreds of pre-owned vehicles at liquidation prices. All makes, all models. Credit challenges? No credit? No problem. We'll tackle any obstacles and get you financed today. Got a trade? We want it. And we're paying top dollar. The used car liquidation blitz. Coming to Lumberton Honda. Exit 22 off I-95. Offer with approved credit. Trade value must be determined with visual inspection. See dealer for complete details and expiration.
Attention Lumberton!